She started her entrepreneurial journey at 54 in fact. और अगर वो कर सकती हैं तो आप भी कर सकते हैं। आज उनसे जानेंगे कि उनके लिए शक्ति क्या है, आज उनसे जानेंगे कि उनकी स्टोरी क्या है। देखिए, all celebrity are not legends and all legends are not celebrities. Today, Rita ma'am, who sits with me, is humble, is grounded, her kindness speaks and उनका ऑरा बात करता है। आज जब हम हर घर शक्ति में बात कर रहे हैं, हम एक माँ की छवि लेकर आ रहे हैं। And she is a beautiful mother, and she's not even a mother to her own son, but to everybody she meets. Rita ma'am, thank you so much for honoring my show and for being here with us today.
You are so especially kind, and I'm really so overwhelmed. I don't have words to express how I feel, and you're amazing and you're beautiful and you're doing great work.
Thank you so much, Rita ma'am. हमारा जो नया सीरीज है हर घर शक्ति, it's about your definition of शक्ति, because you know हर एक की अलग definition होती है शक्ति की। जब हम नवरात्रों में आज बात कर रहे हैं कि दुर्गा पार्वती भी है, वो काली भी है, उसके बहुत सारे फॉर्म हैं, औरत के भी बहुत सारे फॉर्म होते हैं। आप शक्ति को कैसे देखते हैं? Who is Shakti for you?
Shakti, I think that if a woman, without being aggressive, is able to pursue her inner self and do whatever she wants to do, irrespective of what is happening around her, I think that is that speaks of her immense strength from within. In a real society, sometimes women face a lot of opposition, but if you stay calm within and you can just go on without the noise, I think that is absolute and ultimate strength. And somewhere when you relate it to Shakti, it is such that there is a strength in stillness. When it comes to physical aspects, suppose you just hold yourself. When it comes to say physical strength, you just hold your arm for 5 minutes, it will start paining. You can move any amount of weights, it may not pain, but an isometric hold, a still hold has its own strength. So this is how a still strength manifests itself, and that is, they say, is the strength of Shiva. And Shiva ki hi Shakti hai. So no matter how much opposition you face, if you can just not bother about it and just focus on your work and go on with the immense faith and belief that I am doing the right thing, I am going to bring about a change, then you are bringing about a revolution. अग्रेशन को हम लोग ये बोलते हैं कि अगर कोई गुस्सा होता है तो उसको प्यार करो, उसको खिलाओ पिलाओ, क्योंकि that is an expression of weakness. So when you can stay calm but still do what you want to do, irrespective of the opposition, that is absolute Shakti.
Wow, absolutely. और आपने जो बहुत खूब बोला है कि revolution आप लेकर आते हैं when you're connected within, आप लेकर आई हैं. Not once, not twice, not thrice. आपने एक अपना ब्रांड शुरू किया at 54. आपने अपने बेटे को पहले पूरा उस पे समर्पण किया अपना पूरी आधी जिंदगी. You have an autistic child. Mother to being an autistic child, I think it needs lot of patience. It needs lot of love, and you've displayed that. Today, Anish has a job.
Yes.
And it's commendable. You've also been awarded. You're the first judge. You are there as an athlete where women look up to you, because you have a body. You had that body where women were idealizing. आप चाहे physical strength है, mental strength है, you balanced it. In spite of, I know most of my viewers don't know that, कहना बड़ा आसान होता है. लोग कहते हैं हाँ ये आई है मैम, इनके पास इन्होंने काम किया होगा, easy life होगी. Easy life नहीं थी. If I should tell you, Rita ma'am had traumatic childhood. She had a difficult marriage. She had a difficult motherhood, but nothing stopped her, and which is why she's here today. So Rita ma'am, in spite of having, when you went through childhood trauma, what was it like and how did you come out of it?
So I had a mother who was a patient of schizophrenia, and she was, she used to respond to auditory hallucinations. And because of that, she was quite aggressive and her reactions were very violent. So she would scream, and she was very different, obviously, because I saw her like that since childhood. She developed this problem when she conceived me. So I never saw her normal, you know. So as soon as like I was born, for the initial years, of course, my father brought me up. But then all I have ever seen of her was that she was screaming. She would, you know, kind of sometimes take off her clothes and go out. But my father was very loving. He said, for us, she is important. No matter how the society perceives it, she is the Durga. She is our goddess. We have to look after her and accept her. So, you know, it was very difficult as a teenager and as a young girl to accept what's happening. But then, you know, as she couldn't cook, there were those practical difficulties when I never received love, and I was often the official punching bag because everything was poured out on me. So, you know, throughout my childhood, and, you know, this was in the 60s, 70s. So I never got acceptance. We were a very isolated family. So it was very lonely, very traumatic, and I faced a lot of violence. I got beaten up blue-black because, you know, in response to the auditory hallucinations. So it was like that throughout my childhood. So some of the things that I have done is to kind of be part of communities. Like I used to get involved in you know, Bharatnatyam workshops and stuff like that, even when I was very, very little. That was to comfort that I am just like you all. I can excel. I am an individual, and those were the places where people would positively work together in, you know, in synchronization and give love and acceptance irrespective of what is happening in the family. So that was probably one of my ways of expression to come forward then as an individual.
So अगर आप इस फैमिली में हैं जहाँ पर आपके टॉक्सिक पेरेंट्स हैं या एक भी टॉक्सिक है, so you know, I think Rita ma'am is a perfect example that tells you that because you've had a toxic family, it doesn't mean you have to go through that toxicity. You can transform your life. You can transform yourself with looking out on other things. अपनी hobbies में जैसे, you know, she is a good dancer. She developed those skills. She went out. She went on those communities. Rita ma'am, मेरा अगला सवाल.
I have just one thing to say that, you know, I never perceived my parents as toxic because I felt that it was not their fault.
So today social media is all about everything. When you say, you call it toxic, right? So I think कहीं ना कहीं हमें उसमें बदलाव लाना है. So when your parents have not been able to give you love, it doesn't mean that they are toxic. It means that they are mentally not
they're
okay.
not in the condition.
They are not in the condition. And आपका काम है उन्हें प्यार देना और probably accept करना the way.
So that was my first learning, and it has stayed with me. I still have a lot of pain of being beaten up blue-black. I still have pain. I never got food and, you know, the other things. But I still feel that I developed that kindness, that whatever somebody is doing, no matter how bad everybody thinks it is, but it is not their fault. There's something behind it.
See, which is why I call her that Durga Shakti, no? Because everybody doesn't have this kind of understanding, Rita ma'am. I mean, very few people have this understanding that if someone is doing wrong, to get us to that stage, it takes us time, right? Otherwise, हमारा सबसे पहले आएगा कि why did he do that? You know, that ego speaks first.
Yes.
So I think, which is why Rita ma'am is Rita ma'am. She's a legend, and we are blessed to have her. Rita ma'am, being a mother to an autistic child, I'm sure you got lot of, आपको बहुत ज़्यादा लोगों से सुनना पड़ा होगा. Endless सुनना पड़ा होगा. It was be a challenging journey. मैं ये नहीं बोलूँगी कि बहुत सही journey रही होगी आपकी. I'm sure. Can you talk about the challenges that you went through and how did you come out of it?
Yeah, that is very special because I think everything I have done after my child was born, and henceforth, even after he is now doing a job, somewhere down the line, at the you know, in my subconscious mind, whatever I do is you know, for him or from him. Some learning that I have got through him, and so, you know, everything that I have done until now is of course unconventional, and everybody has been criticizing me, and that one value which I just mentioned, that it is never the other person's fault. Maybe they don't understand, and sometimes it wasn't my fault. I am doing something nice. I'm doing something wonderful, but maybe the world doesn't understand me. So I give that benefit of doubt to everybody. So when my son was born, he's an 88 born child. Autism came in psychology textbooks in 91. It was not even a recognized disorder when he was born. Now these are spectrum disorders, and they have selective intelligence. So they are good in a few things, but they are not so good, and they can be as underdeveloped as a 1-year-old child in certain things, and he still is. That still is there. That's in some things he's like a little baby, but in some things he's like. So people who want to criticize you will say that this boy can do this and this and this. He's absolutely normal. You are pretending that he has this problem. You are not understanding. You are not accepting. So, and a lot of things that he's so intelligent. Why can't he do this? Why cannot he have those interpersonal skills? You have not given him the social exposure. It's all your fault. It must be you are the one doing something. So that was the kind of criticism. And for mothers who have children in the autism spectrum, they are the ones who are always at the receiving end, especially from the in-laws.
In-laws, oh yes.
It is a nightmare, the mother-in-law will always blame the mother. For me, there was an added thing that your mother had a problem, that's why you got this in our family. So it started with that, and then of course, because this was not known, but as a mother and having seen schizophrenia since birth, having been visiting psychiatry wards, I could understand a lot of things in perspective, and from perspective that have not been realized before. So I felt that these children must have inclusivity. So I also felt that if we give them the right stimulus, to their brain, they can at least reach their best human potential. So when I wanted him to go to school, the school was, in the beginning very much against me that we don't want this child. The rest of the parents were against him that we don't want this child. And I stayed in the school, day and night. I just to cut things short, I rewrote the entire NCERT books through 12th, made him learn in a way he can. And then they say that children with autism have cerebral hypoplasia, which is responsible for the balance. That's a part of the brain. So I taught him things which can help in balance, so that part of the brain gets stimulus. So together we learned swimming, skating, we did championships.
You got him into sports?
Yes, I got him into sports. And he learned, as a 7-year-old child, he could dive from a 13 feet high board.
Wow.
He could swim in the sea. And then again, the same thing would come. If he can do this, then what's the problem?
Yeah.
But then the spectrum disorder children have problems. They have a lot of difficulty in their interpersonal skills. And then he was good at music. So we started classical music lessons together. He has now done Prabhakar. I have done Prabhakar in classical music from the Prayag Sangeet Samiti. So in so many ways, he is my teacher.
Yeah, you've grown with him.
I have grown with him. The second thing was that I had lost heart everywhere because, with my parents, I had difficulties. With my in-laws, it was impossible. So, had a difficult marriage. So the only thing I could look forward to was my son. So, at that time, everybody said that autistic children generally do not speak. They can be non-verbal. But you may try to work on this child for 20-25 years and then they might get somewhere. Nobody does that. So
Anish sings.
Yeah, Anish sings. And to make him speak, because he did not have any articulation problem. But even if they start talking, you tell them what's your name, they may say what's your name. That parrot speech is there. They are not able to assign meaning to it. So first of all, it's very difficult to make them speak actual words. If at all they speak, it will be a parrot speech. So I got a lot of literature from, Encyclopedia Britannica, from my uncle in US. I got a lot of literature. I went to many doctors. I created my own flashcards and therapeutic modalities and picture books. And, I used to go to my neighbor's house and see what a child of that age does. Because in my childhood, I had lived in complete isolation. I had not seen children. So I learned from other children and I used to get in this very house, all my neighbors' children, I used to get them, let them break furniture, let them break my lipsticks, let them do whatever they want, but have them here. I used to beg them. I used to go out and I used to play hide and seek and all those kiddish games, and people used to make fun of me. Today those games, they bring me a lot of pain because I was ridiculed by these very neighbors. So because I've spent like 35 years here in this house, so everybody here knows my story. It's so special that you've come here for this interview, but this is the very place where all this has happened. And so somehow that childhood, when I was kind of targeting something which is still now in human history being considered impossible, but then slowly one word came and then the other word came, and then I started going with him to school. The school didn't want him, so I would stay, I would do voluntary work, I would get children and I spend a lot of money, take them out in bus, and I spent all I had because I just wanted him to have social interaction. I didn't have anybody, so just for very little I had to do too much, but then I was just bent upon doing it. And so over the years, then he did his schooling. So maybe first 20 years I just didn't do anything. Now at the end he did his graduation. He couldn't complete it here. He went to UK. Then I sent him there because they have the understanding of autism spectrum. And after he came back, I think 2011-12 he came back, and then I started seeing that people have started realizing that there's something called neurodiverse spectrum. It's only in the last 10 years that we see these developments. So I really did it at a time when nobody knew. But now I talk to parents, and parents, they are utter disbelief that we are not able to handle this child. My idea is just this, for parents, that if I can create one example, then every autistic, special needs mother will know that there is a human possibility. It is this research of 20 years is a testimony that this child did his education, he is talented, he's a singer, and it takes a lot, but it is possible.
It is possible.
And he's doing a job.
He's doing a job, yes. And I think as a mother, we need to put in everything that we have.
Yes.
We need to put in, and like you got into wrestling, I believe, thanks to
Anish. Because at the time I was wanting him to go to the gym and do weight training, and I got a lot of opposition. And by that time I was so much that everybody is bent upon telling me you cannot do this, and I'm just doing that very thing. So today you tell me you cannot do this, and I will do that 10 folds better.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of mastered that art, that if somebody tells you something, that don't do it so well that the whole world looks upon you, and that is Shakti.
Wow.
Have that fire in you.
And that fire comes in after you don't care what are the oppositions, what everybody is saying, you don't. You've also created a revolution by bringing Proksham.
Yes.
I have seen the baby growth. I have worked when you were doing the branding for
the labels. Yeah, you did it for me.
Yes. And I saw that fire in you even after 50. You had this thing कि नहीं है ना, इसको और अच्छा करना है.
Yes.
इसको दिखाना है. This has to be like this. What is Proksham? I want you to tell my viewers. And how can they buy Proksham? And who is it for?
Okay, so the primary cause behind it was that I have been in sports, and I see that sports person just work for that medal, and nobody is thinking about two things. One is the long-term health implication and wellness of sports person, because when they are training at an elite level, they go through a lot of oxidative stress, and that wear and tear and harm that is caused can somehow have its repercussions in their old age. Because wear and tear and deterioration begins within, but we do not see it until a long time, but we have started the damage. Now that is, and the athletic shelf life. Every sports person has to retire someday. They retire very young, say at 40. I was, competing, I won my pro card at 48. So I felt that why should this restriction be there, that you cannot do this at this age and this age. We have to have a way of keeping ourselves so strong, alive and fit, until the end of our life, that whenever we want, we should be able to do anything.
Wow.
And why for me specifically? Because I started everything late because of my son. And I have to keep myself fit until the end of my life because I have to serve him until the end of my life. So this thing, you know, of keeping yourself very strong, fit, working on healing, recovery, chronic fatigue, no supplement brand does this. So also that supplementation brands use, chemicals, and they label it wrongly because they want instant money. There's a commercial angle to it. Mine is, I too have, but it is not so desperate. But I feel that somebody has to make a Rolls Royce. My idea is make something so pristine and so pure that it will only do good to the body. Wow. So that was the cause behind it. And pro kshamis, I was one of the first pro athletes. So pro athlete की जो क्षमता है, वहाँ से क्षमता is ability. So Proksham is a name that I created myself. One of the reasons was that वो trademark वगैरह सब कुछ copy नहीं होता है. That was a practical thing. But yes, Proksham came from that. And we have a lot of nutraceutical options, products for healing, for recovery. We have used Ayurveda, and of course then there is, and we have a website now. It's there on Amazon, and then we have those e-commerce phone numbers,
And I wish Proksham all the best. I know with the intent that it has started, and I'm sure it is just going to go and reach millions. I mean, like I always say, because जब आप दिल से कुछ करते हो और अपनी सारी एनर्जी उसमें डाल देते हो और इंटेंट आपकी इतनी अच्छी होती है तो वो अच्छा ही करेगा.
Yes.
Rita ma'am, my last question to you. You have been a very good mother. You've created revolution. You're a singer. You're a dancer. You're a judge. You're a wrestler. You're still studying.
Yeah.
You'll be studying nutrition and you'll be going next year.
Yeah.
What is your message to the ladies sitting there, waiting for something, for somebody, being in a very, very sad mode, in anxiety, in depression? What is your message to them?
I would say that pursue your passions unapologetically. A lot of women are told, they are kind of told to prioritize. I think you should just listen to your inner calling and try to fulfill your need of self-actualization. For me, a greater message because of my individual circumstances is this, that you must take care of your health. Because if something is stopping you from doing something, maybe, there are genuine circumstances you have to prioritize in your life. And so many times women give up their, inner calling and hobbies and, their artistic endeavors, they sacrifice on it. But, I have seen people who have, when they retire, they have done everything, they have fulfilled their responsibilities, they can take it up, but then their health is not with them. So always keep that hope alive. And, we have to master the art of learning, to learn, unlearn, relearn. If there is anything that you cannot do, like my son could not speak, but, even God has not given him the instinct. लेकिन वो जैसे यमराज से वो सती लेके आई थी ना, we do that because we are women. So you should be able to break, if there is something you feel that you cannot do, then break that process into micro steps and conquer that tiny step at a time and never compare yourself with others. Just keep going at the pace, at your pace. If somebody is taking 1 year to do something, take 5 years. Be kind to yourself, but do it. And let everybody laugh. Just think that this is my journey. I will do it at my pace, as how God and universe is allowing me to pursue this journey. And just go on, no matter how clumsy you look in a certain art, no matter how bad it is, good it is, just keep going. It is imminent. It is impossible that you will not succeed. It is imminent. You will succeed and you will become who you are meant to be in this lifetime. And so we must value the presence of life and live it to the fullest.
Rita ma'am has said it all. I don't think so. I need to close this because सही है, सच है ये. और जब आप अपने आप से कनेक्टेड होते हैं, जब आप अपने पैशन को फॉलो करते हैं, जब आप अपने आप से बैठकर बात करते हैं और जब आप अपनी फिजिकल हेल्थ का ख्याल रखते हैं तो आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं। तो मेरे आज का जो एपिसोड goes all thanks to Rita ma'am that we've been able to give this very strong message that ladies, and not even ladies, I would also say men, because Shakti का कोई gender नहीं होता, so take care of your physical health along with your mental health, because हमें नहीं पता कल 20 years down the line ये जो आप खा रहे हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं आपको affect करेगा। So eat well, eat healthy, stay well and connect to the Shakti within, because हर घर Shakti। Thank you Rita.
Thank you.